After the Luque fight, I saw Danny, my manager, and was like, I got to get back in there as soon as possible. You learn from your losses, but you definitely don't want to marinate in them for too long. So I just told him, let's get a fight in December, and then they gave me November. So I was like, sweet, that's perfect. So super excited about completing the trifecta. I fought in Abu Dhabi, I got a fight in a packed arena, and now I'm here at Apex, so I can say that I did the full trifecta in a calendar year. So pretty excited about this opportunity.
That's awesome. I hadn't thought about that. That's cool. So you wanted to get a fight. They give you the young, undefeated stud, up-and-coming prospect, right? Did you see that coming, that was what they were going to hand you?
I didn't even really care, honestly. I was just so anxious to get back in there and compete. So when they said Sean Brady, there was no hesitation. And it's nice because I've worked the desk for a few of his fights, so I kind of already had the drop on him. I'm pretty well aware of who he was prior to him getting in the UFC. My teammate Tyler McGuire almost fought him, so we kind of already game planning for Tyler to fight him a while ago, and that fight never came to fruition. So it didn't matter who it was that they called me with headed into this fight. But Sean Brady was the guy, so that's the matchup, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think he's a tough kid. You look at these guys coming up at welterweight. Everybody talks about Khamzat Chimaev. No one's really talking about Sean Brady. No one's really talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov, these tough up-and-coming guys. I feel like you got to include all three of them in this conversation. So I'm excited I get one of these tough up-and-coming prospects. I want to give him a shot because I want to still prove that I'm still that guy.
That's cool. I know what a fight fan you are in addition to just being an analyst. So, I don't want to say would you say you're a fan of this guy, but, have you liked what you've seen out of him coming up?
Oh, dude, 100%. When he hit that one-arm guillotine over, I think it was Aguilera's his last name. I almost said Christina Aguilera. Totally would have watched that. But yeah, I was working the desk that fight. That's impressive. One-arm submission, something I know something about. So it was really cool to see him go out there and get that win. And I like the challenges that he presents. It's a way for me to kind of right that wrong. I made one tactical error against Vicente Luque, and now it's like, once they gave me the Sean Brady fight, I'm like, this is perfect. This guy's a great grappler, and I can right that wrong by going out there and beating him. So I'm really looking forward to kind of hitting two birds with one stone, getting a win and just erasing the bad taste in my mouth from that last loss.
I guess you never know until you get out there, right? But like the grappling fan in me is hoping that you two guys go out there and put on some insane grappling clinic. But often when we see grapplers, right, they cancel each other out, they end up striking. So do you anticipate one over the other?
I think that at some point there will be some grappling exchanges, but, I've been in the UFC for almost 10 years and I haven't displayed my full set of skills. So don't be surprised if you hit the nail on the head and we cancel each other out and things take place on the feet. I think a lot of people will be surprised with what I'm capable in terms of my striking. It's just when plan A is grappling and I don't have to deviate from that and it's working, what's the point, But yeah, I know he's a tough guy. I know he's well-rounded, but I think this has the potential to be a full display of mixed martial arts between both of us.
It sounds like you're excited about fighting the Apex. I did wonder kind of what the emotions are like, right? Because you come in here as like and work like office job, like sit at a desk. So like, is there going to be like a different feel? Is it a bad thing or a good thing that maybe you're so comfortable with the environment?
I haven't even really thought about that. The way I perceive the Apex is I feel like I'm going back to my Ultimate Fighter days. I look at this like I'm going back to the Tough Gym and look at the run I put together at the Tough Gym. 4 tough fights before I fought the finale, and so that's the way I look at this. I'm not looking at this like, I'm walking in the office to actually get in a fist fight. I'm looking at this like this is a throwback to the Ultimate Fighter days. I'm going into the small octagon in the small venue with the small crowd to go out there and fight in a big fight. So while it has that tough environment feel for me, it still has that big fight feeling that I'm going in there to fight a tough up-and-coming prospect. So we saw how I did. We all know how I did on the Ultimate Fighter. So I feel like that this plays into my advantage being here at the Apex.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, obviously the goal is to pick up a victory, but I wonder like, what's the overarching thing? Is it, just to get the last one out of, get that feeling away, or is it to prove like, hey, I had a little slip up, but I'm still a contender. You still need to be talking about me in that mix.
You hit the nail on the head. I just want to prove I'm still that guy. And there's no better way of doing that than to fight a tough, up-and-coming, undefeated prospect that everybody's super high on, as they should be. Look at his line of work has been great. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's undefeated in his career. The place he cut his teeth in CFFC, that's a tough proving ground for an up-and-coming fighter. So I know what he's capable of. I know what he brings to the table. In this, this ain't no pushover. He's a tough kid, but I've got to prove I'm still the guy, and I know I am the guy, and I know I'm going to get my hand raised, and I'm super excited to get out there and compete.
Hey, Michael. So after your last fight, there was footage that came out on the UFC's Thrill and Agony of you just darting out of the arena and going to this garage. I guess I just wanted to know your what was going on through your mind at that point.
In my mind, it was just I was upset with my game time decision I made. I got into that position so fast against Vicente Luque that I just got excited. I got excited and I rushed to finish, and that goes against like the day one philosophies as a grappler: position before submission. I started throwing up subs before I even had a position secured, and that's against everything that I've been doing, especially in this recent run at 170 pounds. I mean, you saw the way I positionally dominated Diego Sanchez. You saw what I did to Neil Magny. You would not expect me to do something like that against a guy like Vicente, but I just got in such a rush for the finish, and that's just all. I was just mad at myself, and it's not the best display of being a good sportsman when I dart on out of there, but I made sure to, let him get his hand raised. I gotta take it on the chin, but once I got out of the octagon, it's like there's a lot that goes into these fights. I tell people all the time, one fight is a full season in another sport. We put in 10 to 12 week training camps leading into one moment. An NFL season's it's 17 weeks or something like that. So it's fairly relative to the same length of a season in any other sport. So when you lose that season, it hurts. It hurts a lot, especially when you pride yourself on being a hard worker and being a cerebral fighter. I was just really mad at myself. I guess that's the best way to say it. I was just really upset with myself.
And how long did it take you to get over that loss?
Not long, because they called me about this fight. So it's you don't want to bask in your wins, but you got to have short-term memory in this sport. But it's hard when you lose. And I think it's important that if you're ever going to look back, you should only look back to see how far you've come and remind yourself of that. But on a loss, you're just looking back at that one thing, and I'm just beating myself up like, why did I do that? Why? I could be sitting here having a way different conversation with you guys right now. I could have potentially been the guy fighting Kamaru Usman next, but that's not the case. So I'm here to put together another win streak. It starts with Sean Brady, and I'm going to get my hand raised on Saturday night.
And finally, I asked Sean too, but I want to know if you noticed that you two have conflicting tattoos on your on your stomachs, and if you just
I saw the kind of meme about that, and I saw his little his shirts for this fight with a guy choking out a tiger. The difference with his tattoos and mine is there's a lot of meaning behind this. My grandfather, who inspired me to be a competitor, was a motorcycle racer. He had a race team. He had a race track, and it was called Tribers Tigers, State Line Speedway. It's Tribers Tigers race team, so this tiger's paying homage to my grandpa. Yeah, conflicting for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the important follow-up, did you see that Venator signed a deal with UFC Fight Pass? Maybe you have a message for Uncle Frank?
Hey, Uncle Frank, you got to bring back Law and Order. You got to bring back me and J-Mo, dude. Come on. We killed it. I'm only getting better. So is John. We're getting our reps now that Venator FC is on Fight Pass, which let me tell you something. For people that don't know, the card that me and John called in Italy, Jack Hermanson and Marvin Vettori were on the undercard. And look at where they've become now. And I think that, I think it would just be... I think it's a good fit for you and me to be back at the desk calling some fights in Italy. Let's go, Law and Order. Peace out, guys.